Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh. Just to let you know, forgetting to put my microphone on, not even a tip of the iceberg. Really. There's so much going on right now. And I know it's not just me. But I am in a weird place because, I talk to a lot of people. And I am starting to see that I know it's not just me. I know it's not just like what's going on in my little world. And this is the great thing about being able to talk to so many of you and so many of my followers and my clients, is because I know that it's not just me. I know that there's a lot going on. But I'm also seeing how all of us cope with everything so differently. So very differently. For me, I think we've talked about this before, I run for the sweet. I mean, it's a litany of things, right? I go for donuts, brownies, cookies, just whatever's handy. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're homemade, Little Debbie, Hostess, whatever. I eat when I'm not even hungry. That's what I do. That is a coping mechanism for me. It grounds me. It gets me stable really quickly, and then I drop, and then I fall. And so it's not healthy. It's definitely not healthy for my weight. But when there's so much stuff going on, like all around you, just in your daily life, it's hard to like put your finger on like a healthy coping mechanism, right? Because it's a lot coming at you, and you're in this vortex of just things just hammering at you all the time. Now, this creates several different things. It creates unhealthy habits, obviously. It creates a place of depression. It creates just negative tendencies. So I have one client that she's a single lady. Her kids are grown. And she makes a decent living. She makes more than Dr. Seuss and I put together. But when she's upset or she's feeling insecure about her life, her relationship, her job, or just feeling uneasy, unhappy, let's call it depressed. When she's sad about something, when she's just unsure about something, she hoards her money. So, just for an example, 6 months ago, she called me and we talked for a long time. And those of you that are my clients know that I have not raised my prices in 5 years. I haven't raised my prices in 5 years. But 6 months ago, this woman called me and quibbled over just a paltry amount. I mean, I think it was like $15. And she was just really upset about that. And I was like, okay. So I don't argue with that. I won't argue with people over that. I just refunded her entire amount. And I was like, sent her a blessing, and I moved on. Now, I don't hear from her that often anymore because I knew what was going on with her. I knew that there was like a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of anxiety there. And for her, I wouldn't exactly call it depression, but I would say that there was a lot of insecurity and a lot of anxiety in her life. And so what she does is she hoards her money. She's going to nickel and dime everything. Everything. And I'm not going to play that game. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And I just refunded her entire like session, and I just moved on. And I mean, I have talked to her since then, and I tell her, I'm like, okay, this is how long we've been talking for. And when she's not frantic, when she's not anxious, when she's in a good place, it doesn't bother her. It doesn't. So I see everyone's very, very different coping mechanism, because that woman does not eat like sweets. She's pretty healthy, but that's what she does, is she focuses on her money. She hoards her money. When other people feel anxious, when other people are upset, they target their relationships. I mean, they target their relationships. And I have been around people where I've just been like, I'm not going to that event. I'm not going to that wedding. I'm not going to that birthday party. I'm not going on that trip because I see where they're at. I see where that person's at. And I'm not going on that trip or going to that event with them or going to that birthday party or whatever it is. I'm not going because I see where that person is already at, and I know what's going to happen. They're looking for a target, and I'm going to be unavailable. Sorry, not doing it. There's a lot of that out there. There is. And you know, I have been accused of being abusive because of my confrontation. I have absolutely no problem with standing up and saying, hey, I feel wronged. I don't feel like this is the right thing. I am not in it. It has taken me a very long time to get to that place. And I almost let one bad word of a derogatory name for a lady, I almost let one heifer, let's call her a heifer, that's not going to get me demonetized. I almost let one selfish, petty, gossipy, exaggerating heifer set me back 20 years in my healing because she accused me of being abusive because I confronted her about her bad behavior. And the thing is, because she's a, you know, people believed her. That's fine. Believe her. Go to it. They don't believe her now because she's doing the same BS to them. That's fine. Hey, April. And that's fine. But it messed me up. It messed me up for a bit. So I let it affect 2 other relationships that I had. I let it affect 2 other relationships that I had. And then I started to do some old habits. And I was feeling really bad about myself. I really was. I was feeling really bad about myself. And some of the people that I was working with, some of the people that I was around could smell it. And they started to target me. I put myself back in that space of being targeted because I was feeling bad about myself, because I was not honoring who I was because of one, again, exaggerating and it's a different kind of bully when they do that. It's a different kind of bully when they sit and they cry and they go, oh my gosh, they hurt my feelings. Oh my gosh. You know what I'm talking about? You know those people? It's a different kind of bully when they do that. So I let that affect the next 2 relationships that I had. And in one of these relationships, this particular person called me out, or she didn't do it to my face, because she was again the kind of person that would go around and tell everybody the problem that they had with you, but never say it to your face. Just being like hateful to your face, but wouldn't tell you what was wrong. And even when you said, is there something wrong? Nope, nothing. Okay, that's a choice. That is a choice. My choice on that was to let it affect me again. She was going around and telling some of the other people that we worked with, close people that we were working with, that I was a fan of a particular political party. Yes. That is not especially popular right now. I'm not going to get into politics because it's not my area. I will say right now, I am neither of the popular parties, political parties. I am neither of those in this country. That's all I'm going to say. Because, frankly, I just think all politicians are screwed. And that's as far as I'm going to go. I have no idea where she got this from. But the funny thing is 2 of the people in fact of the political party that she was complaining about. And that she kept saying I was taking control, and that it's like all those particular political party people that are just controlling, and they just, just trying to make everything into, I don't know, like Nazi Germany or something. I don't know what else she was saying. But the thing is, it wasn't me. It was the people that she was complaining to. And because I had gotten damaged and I didn't take the time to heal, I brought it into the next relationship. And I kept walking around like that. Then I discovered a whole new part of myself where I chose to work myself into a frenzy. Like that was going to help, right? So instead of healing, instead of working through it, I decided to put on the absolute best face ever. I am happy. Everything is great. I'm doing great. I'm doing well. All of that. And I'm coming clean to you guys because there's been so many people on my phone, in my feed, talking to me through, like, it's not Skype anymore, it's Zoom, talking to me through all of these things where I see the depression, I see the manic behavior, I see it, and I understand it because I've been there, and it's not been that long ago. I worked myself into such a frenzy of overwork, of just going, I have to succeed, I have to push, I have to, until literally Spirit was just like, no, you don't. And last year, I took a break from YouTube, which is basically like, it's cancer to YouTube, right? It's cancer to your channel. It's bad. It's acid reflux to your channel. So it's not easy, right? It's not easy dealing with these emotions. It's not. But I'm going to tell you something that's really, really, really hard. You have to just stop and heal. because it's never going to go away. It is never going to go away, and it is going to continue to show up, and it's going to continue to fester. And everything that you do, if you do not stop and heal, stop and take the time to do it. I don't know what your practice is. I don't know. Half the time, I don't even know what my practice is. I try everything. I have absolutely no problem with that. I think that there's some really fantastic Reiki practitioners out there, and I think there's some really crappy ones. I happen to know some really good ones. I happen to know some really, really class A Reiki practitioners. One of which, all I have to do is look at her artwork, and it pulls me out of my stupor. Yeah. So you can go check her out. She's Gypsy Soul Surfer. She's on Facebook. I do not think she's on YouTube, but she might be. Gypsy Soul Surfer. She is fantastic. If you're looking for a Reiki practitioner, hit her up. Have her do some Reiki on you. Have her do some artwork for you, because it still pulls me out of it. It does. I look at her stuff all the time. I also have some really good friends. Good friends that when they know they haven't heard from me in a minute, that there's probably something that is like taking me away, you know? Instead of blaming me, instead of going, well, God dang, Jennifer, where have you been? You know, instead of blaming me and just being like, you know, you're an a-hole, you're that name that I didn't want to say earlier, because I'm trying really hard not to get monetized there. You know, you're a heifer, you're out of control, blah, blah, blah. Instead of saying that, they just go, hey, just checking in. How you doing? You doing all right, lady? Let me tell you, it's crazy over here. You know, and it's okay. It's okay. It's not easy it's not always easy for me to reach out to people and let them know what's going on with me, because it's embarrassing. Yeah, it's embarrassing for me to just come to the table and just be like, hey, yeah, this is all effed up right now. Everything is like, you know, twitchy. I got an injured cat that keeps like trying to claw his way out of glass. That's great. It's, you know, there's just a lot to be said for those kind of friendships that are willing to like just overlook some of the things that you're just like, you know, dipping out for a minute. And it takes a while to heal. It's nice when you have that kind of support group that is just like, hey, anytime you're ready, come back in. Now, again, I've been talking to a lot of people lately that do not have that kind of support group. They don't have that. And then they feel unheard. They feel like no one is listening to them. How can I get help? You know, they're just like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. And it really is a huge, huge difference when people have a support group. When people feel like, even if you are just going, hey, that's a little nuts, that's a little crazy. And people have told me that. But they also go, I love you. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving because you're doing something that's a little crazy. I'm just going to tell you, I'm here. Let me know if I can give you a parachute because you're about to jump off a cliff without one. Let me know if I can help you. I think recognizing that we can help our friends, we can help our loved ones in that direction is a good way to proceed. I've been taking I know some of you know I've been taking some classes. I had to stop for a minute, but I've been taking some classes, and I I do really feel like this is the right time for me to take like these psychology and counseling classes, because I would not have received it the same way 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I think that this is the right time for me to receive it, to receive this, and because a lot of this stuff I'm feeling and I understand or I've dealt with. So when I see people without a support group struggling, and I see people with a support group, they're still struggling, but it's different. It's different because people with the support group feel like they have room to heal. People that feel supported feel like they're being given room to heal. Where the people that don't have a support group feel like they are all alone, nobody's hearing them, nobody's helping them. And sometimes even people with a support group will feel that way, but they feel that way just temporarily. This is just what I'm seeing with my clients. They feel that way just temporarily, because when they finally do open up to their support group, when they finally do cave and say, hey, this is what's going on, they realize they've had support there all along. That's a difference. That's a huge difference. It's enormous. It's just like that study that was done in the 70s about rats, mice, they're small furry animals, vermin. So they put these animals in a cage, and they were testing to see like how addictive some of the drugs were, right? And they put some in a cage and they isolated them. They didn't give them anything to do. They didn't give them any activities. They didn't give them any friends. And they kept going to the water that was laced with the drugs, the addictive substances. Well, I don't even know what it was, but it was an addictive substance that they were testing. And that's all those mice would do, is just go back to that water over and over and over again until basically they expired. On the other hand, they gave the same substance and plain water, because they gave that to the other ones too. They gave that to mice that had friends, that had activities, that had something to do, and they never went for the water with the substance. I think that is huge. I think that is I think that is enormous. So I think this is why a lot of people come together when they have something in common. And Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all that, all the social media stuff now can bring those people together without them being physically in each other's company, right? Which I think is a little bit sad, but I also think it's good. I mean, I think, well, okay, I think it's good and bad, all right? Because sometimes I feel like it's just a hug. A hug can really, really help you heal your physical body. And two different clients sent me that this week about how hugging and cuddling heals the physical body. Yeah, two different clients. They don't even know each other. And when I was looking at that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is 100% right. I mean, yeah, cuddling or being in a loving relationship, hugging, can literally change your gene expression. It can turn off inflammation. it can heal, but it also it just it shifts something in you mentally too, to have that touch, to have that connection. So there's that. I don't know. I'm looking for the other lady, what she sent me. Yeah, it was almost the exact same thing. But it is like how hugging can help heal, how physical touch can help heal, which is why when children are hospitalized, it is so much better for their parents, their grandparents, their sibling to be there with them, because when they get that physical connection, they can heal a lot faster. Take the time to heal. Take the time to heal properly. And some things, most things, it's not going to happen overnight. Right now, it's not going to happen overnight. Are you stepping on my computer? Dude, come here. If you're going to step on the computer, come and get in front of the camera. But this is what I would like for you to take away from this. When you're struggling, stop. Take the time to heal. Take the time to assess. And the thing is, I don't always know I'm on the struggle bus until like the bad thing happens. Sometimes I don't recognize it, and I'll just be like, "Come on, I've got this deadline. Come on, I've got to get this done." And I'm like, and I'm all of a sudden going, "They didn't do this. They didn't do this. They don't work for this company. It's just me." So I have to take a step back and just go, okay, where is this coming from? What's going on? I put a TikTok out like last week saying I look for pockets of peace, and I do. I look for that all the time, and I'm constantly looking for peace. But sometimes the peace comes when somebody is talking to me and I let them in and I tell them what's going on, and I know they know how I feel. Not because they're going, "I know how you feel." It's because they are telling me, this is how I felt in that position. This is how I felt during that time. This is how I felt. And I am just like, yeah, I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel understood. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I think that really for the people around us that are struggling, and I do want to say this, there's only so many times you can offer someone a parachute. There's only so many times you can offer someone a parachute. Before they leap off of that cliff, before they leap out of that into thin air, and you're just like, hold on, might want to think about this. There's only so many times you can do that before either you get tired or they jump. And I'm not talking about literally. I'm not talking about unaliving themselves. I know, can't say it's complicated with what you can say on YouTube. But there's only so many times that you can give them that lifeline before you get tired, before you're just like, I don't have it anymore. And I don't think you really want to get to a place in any relationship that you have that way. I don't. And I know it happens with like parents, with siblings, with your spouses, whatever. I know it happens. I've seen it in my family. I've seen it. And the thing is, I think that there's a lot of like people with hard heads in my family. Mm. Isn't that funny? A lot of stubborn people that I have to just like, F around and find out. Yeah. I mean, if you look that up in Google, my family's picture is like right beside that. I know, just like, let's just try it. And then we find out. And I think that it really, like, sometimes we just have to do things the hard way. So I try to make people around me, especially people that I care about, I try to go, don't do this the hard way. Let me help you. Let me help you. It's not always well received. It's not. The gentle approach isn't always the best. But really, this is Tuesday. This is Tuesday. And I have been hit pretty hard over the past few days. I would say maybe starting Friday, I've been hit pretty hard with all of these, like, these people that I care about, or I've really come to care about because they've been a client of mine for a long time, or it's a friend of mine, or it's a family member. But there is a lot going on right now. And I just want to say, everybody breaks. Everybody has that time. Everybody does. Everyone. No one gets out of this without breaking. No one gets out of this life without taking a dip into, like, I want to say depression, or feeling anxious, or feeling just, out of control, unhappy. No one gets away with that. And they're lying if they say that they haven't. Or maybe it's just not hit them yet. Because honestly, it doesn't hit some people until they're in their 50s. But some people, it hits them in their teens. So that was me. It hit me in my teens. I went through a really, really bad time in high school. Just a really hard time in high school. And it took me almost a decade to really recover and to really find out who I was. And I'm still, like, discovering parts about me that I'm like, I do love that. I do. But I know this is not going to be one of my super popular shows. That's fine. But this has been such a, just looking back over the past 10 days, this has been really hard for a lot of people. And the thing is, I do feel like we're experiencing a bit of the chickens are coming home to roost kind of thing, come to Jesus moment, however you want to put that. But I think a lot of things are just like settling in, and it's not always positive. I do want to say that, because of the people that are my clients, I'm also reading their charts. And when I'm looking at their chart, I have noticed that a lot of people that are really taking a dip and really, like, having a super hard time right now, it has to do with North Node and South Node colliding. So South Node is in Virgo right now. If you have North Node or your ascendant in Virgo, there's a lot of things that's happening. There's a lot of unhinged things that are happening. If you haven't healed, if you're not in a solid place, this could be what's going on. And I'm saying that because I've also noticed that when Pluto was in my ascendant, when Pluto was in Capricorn, I had been doing a lot of work on myself. I have been doing, just working through a lot of just garbage that I had been carrying around for 30 years. And just working through it. I had spent a lot of time with, some of the emotional baggage that I've been carrying around. I cleaned it out. I worked through it. So then when Pluto went into my ascendant, I was ready for some good changes. Scary, uncertain, yes, but I was ready for the good changes. So my changes, my huge changes and stuff that I went through with that in my ascendant, it wasn't as horrible. It was enlightening. I leveled up. There were lots of changes that came with me, right? But I watch other people that are not in a solid place. And when Pluto has gone into Aquarius, and if they have Aquarius ascendant, and they're not in a healed place, they're not in a solid place, and they haven't been cleaning out some of their emotional baggage, maybe they haven't been taking care of something, it's coming in. It's coming home. You have to take care of that before you can move up. It's not easy. It's not easy. That's why I'm telling you, heal. Stop. Take a minute and heal. I don't care if it's something that you're addicted to. Sugar, for me, 100%. I mean, really, how many more tens do I need? What's going on here? Really? This is bad. Come on. It's not like I'll lose weight like I did in my 30s. I mean, I'm in my 50s now. And this is ridiculous. I digress. So that's a problem for me, right? That is 100% a problem for me. But that may not be what it is for you. Maybe you're like my client that hoards money. Maybe I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things to be addicted to out there. Shopping, I know, substances, all kinds. But, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can get addicted to. You can even get addicted to healthy things. And too much exercise, too much of a good thing, that's bad. Too much of eating just like low calorie, no fat, blah, blah, blah. Also, not healthy, right? Because our brains need fat. So my brain should be really off the charts, big. I mean, it should be off the charts, I should be super genius, like Iron Man genius by now. But I'm just saying. So the thing is, I went back to some really bad habits a few years ago. I went back to some really bad habits because of one person. Because of one person saying something that had no idea what it was going to do to me. Not a clue. And that's another thing. I have absolutely, and I still have no control over anybody else. No one else, because everyone has free will. And I don't care how many people, and a few weeks ago I talked about Etsy and buying spells on Etsy. Please don't do that. Please, oh my gosh, please do not do that. No spell on Etsy, none of these books down here, nothing is going to control someone else. Because universal law of free will, you're not going to control someone else. You're not. The only thing you can control is your reaction. And I seriously did. I sat back and I was like, it's her fault. It's her fault I'm acting like this. It wasn't. But what I should have done is said, I am sorry that you feel like I am being abusive, because I am not. If you feel like I am being abusive, you should seek counseling, because I am not being abusive. I'm not gaslighting you. I'm asking you why you are behaving in this manner. That's not gaslighting. That's not being abusive. That's being very direct. Confrontational? Yeah, 100%. But, I mean, we all have to be good at something, so. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't have empathy for someone. I'm not saying you should let people's bad behavior, you should let people's bad behavior just be okay, or just put a stamp of approval on it because they're going through a tough time. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm not. I'm saying you need to be empathetic. You need to be supportive, but you don't have control over what's going on with that person. They are in a healing place. And just you saying, I'm here. You may not want to talk to me right now. You may disagree with how I'm trying to help you, but I'm here. When you are ready, I am here. Sometimes that's all that person needs, because you're not trying to control them. And then when you do talk to them and you say, what do you need? Not what can I do for you? What do you need? And then you're probably going to be really surprised with what comes out of their mouth. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I think that there's a lot of stress in our communities, in our, I want to say society, but I really just want to say the country. There's a lot of stress going on right now. A lot of things that none of us can control, right? I remember reading about tariffs in history class, not history, civics. I hated civics, by the way. Loved history, hated civics. I think that there's a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of people throwing stuff around on social media. And again, people know that I don't watch the news, so a lot of my clients, and I love this, I do, but I can't watch it all. A lot of my clients, 6, maybe 7, all send me political stuff all the time to let me know what's going on out there, because I do not watch the news. I absolutely refuse to, because it's depressing. And I don't need any other help with that. I'm still trying to heal from something that happened to me almost 6 years ago. And I really, really hurt my finger just now. This is probably how I broke my wedding ring. I mean, I just clocked my hand because I talk with my hands, and this is also why I had to get these kind of microphones, because I had a microphone that, came down, because I talk with my hands so much, I hit the damn thing all the time. It's just, yeah, I'm a mess. It's a mess. I think that there's a lot to be said for how we can help ourselves with our mental health. How we can help ourselves, because our mental health does affect our physical health. It does. It does. Because depending on your coping mechanisms, eating sugar, that is not helping my physical health. No, it is not. I am gaining weight as we speak. And it's making my knees and my feet hurt, and it's doing nothing. It's doing nothing for my jawline. I mean, I can see my grandfather Oh my gosh. Like every time I look, I'm like, what is happening here? I mean, I don't need these jowls. So there are things that we can do to help ourselves that are healthy. A Reiki practitioner, fantastic, fantastic. How about just going for a walk? Doesn't have to be outside. I recommend it. Highly recommend going outside and walking. Treadmill, elliptical, gym, whatever. Go for a walk. There are so many of these hiking clubs out there, and they are gender specific. If you don't want to walk with another gender, maybe you don't feel comfortable doing exercise around that, that's fine, absolutely. But there are a lot of hiking and walking clubs out there that are gender specific. One of my very good friends, is like helping run one of these things, and it's so empowering. I mean, like, she is just bringing in like women. She's bringing in women that she's like trying to get out into nature more, and some are, I think, old hands at like the whole being out in nature, and some are not. But the thing is, find a group, find a quilting bee, find someone that, like, I don't know, make cards with. That's something my aunt does. You know, go paint. Again, another friend of mine, she like actively looks for art classes that she can take, like groups that she can join, and she's just like, all right, let's do this. You know, what do you want to do? You want to do archery? Want to do fencing? You want to do something? Do something. Pick an activity. Pick an activity. Be consistent. And that's hard. That's really hard for me. So before summer starts, and I've been doing this for a few days, before summer like really starts, because tomorrow is my kid's last day of school, I have already started walking, just going outside and walking. And I wanted to get into the habit a bit before my kids got out of school. So now when they get out of school, I'm going to be like, get on your bikes, get on your scooters, we're going for a walk. And that way I can just be like, we're just going to do this, then we're going to enjoy our day. We're just going to do this, and then we're going to move on through our day. My parents do it all the time. And, you know, my kids never had a problem doing that with my parents, so why should they have a problem doing it with me? Well, I mean, you know, this is kids we're talking about, and mine for that reason. But so we need to have empathy for ourselves, for other people, give them room, give them space, support for ourselves, for other people. Give yourself and other people time to heal. Don't judge them for how long it takes them to heal. But again, there's only so many times you can give somebody a lifeline before they take it or they don't. Just keep going. You cannot change someone else. You can only change yourself. Then pick an activity. Take a walk. Sit down. Some people need to sit down. Meditate. Because walking, exercising is meditation for a lot of people. Some people, and I do talk to these people, folding clothes is a meditation. I wish that was like a meditation that I could get behind, because with 3 Marquez men in this house and a ton of cats, 3 dogs, I have a lot of things that I have to fold. I have a lot of laundry. So I would very much like to have folding clothes as my meditation, but it's not. That's not my jam. But it is for some people. Find your meditation. Find what it is that like can bring that peace to you, that you can sit and have that moment. For me, lately, it's been walking. In the winter months, I'm going to be real honest with you. That's when it's cold, I am sitting in my car in the kids' school parking lot, in my driveway, and enjoying that pocket of peace where I'm just having my coffee, maybe scrolling a little bit on social media. But a lot of times I'm just sitting there, just needing a minute, But the thing is, you find what works for you. Find what works for you. There's no spell here. There's no magic in it except the magic that you bring to the table. If something is wrong, if there's something that's not right, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever is ailing you, somewhere near that problem is the antidote. Somewhere near that issue is the answer. But a lot of people don't like it. They don't like it. They don't need it. Because for me, I was depressed, so I was overcompensating. And that was a problem. That was a problem on top of a problem that I already had. Instead of me sitting back and going, okay, what is the problem? I'm depressed. And instead of diving in and overcompensating and just going, I'm going to work myself into a frenzy, what I should have done is said, you know what? I'm going to work through this, and I'm going to understand that I'm okay. I'm going to understand that there's a lot of things that have been misunderstood about me, and that's okay. If those people deliberately want to misunderstand me, let them. I cannot stop them because they don't want to take the time to know me. There is some people that when I meet them, they're automatically angry at me, and they don't even know why. One lady just crucified me for studying astrology, and at that time, I wasn't studying astrology, and I was like, okay. And she goes, so what about my sign? And I was like, I don't know, because I don't study astrology. And the whole room was just like snickering and laughing. And she was just like, yeah, you do. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm a medium. I'm not studying astrology. And she was like, you don't believe in that. And I was like, I do believe in it. I absolutely believe in it. But there's a lot of things that I believe in, and whether or not I believe in them, they exist. And then that made her mad. But it didn't matter what I said. She was angry at me as soon as I walked in the door. And it really wasn't even me. She was just pissy. She was just angry. And I was a good target. Which, again, is why I usually take myself out of those energies and why I don't go to some events, why I don't go to like weddings, birthdays, like whatever, because I'm not going to be someone's target. I'm not. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to be your target, I'm not going to be there because we're not doing this in person. Something goes wrong, because I have been to events where it was my friend's event, and I would just show up to like support or what can I do to help, and things would go wrong and they would blame me, and I'm like, sure. So your mismanagement of the funds or your mismanagement of the time had nothing to do with this. It is my fault because I showed up in the wrong color dress. Yeah, I know, it's real, it happens, but that's the thing. I just want you to see that maybe there's something that triggers you or another person to fall into anxiety or depression or whatever it is that is like making your coping mechanisms like bubble to the surface. So I recognize it. I mean, I just bought a pack of cookies from Walmart that are called banana split cookies. Okay, they are good. But I wasn't even hungry. I, first of all, didn't even realize I was eating them. Yeah. Didn't even recognize that I was eating them until I was on my second cookie, and they were big cookies. And you see how I'm saying were? Yeah, because I ate all 6 of those cookies. I ate all 6 of those cookies. Those cookies are about this big, and they were quite delightful. But I ate all 6 of those cookies in 3.5 days. I mean, I realized that's an average of 2 cookies a day, but it wasn't the same. Like the last day, I was really just going, I'm not going to eat a cookie. I'm not going to eat a cookie. I'm not going to do it. I ate the cookie. I ate the last cookie because I think the first day I did eat 3. It is how I ground myself a lot. It's how I quickly ground myself. And it's not the healthy coping mechanism. But I had such a bad day because I just knew what a client was going through. I knew that pain. I felt it. And then it resurrected it for me. So instead of going outside and touching a tree, instead of looking at the gorgeous Gypsy Soul Surfers artwork, I went and ate a whole bunch of cookies. Yeah. So it did remind me, and I did have to sit back and go, okay, why am I doing this? Stop. What's going on? Now, I started recognizing my triggers, which messed up somebody else that I'm close to. It completely messed this person up. And I was like, I'm trying to get grounded. I'm trying to contain myself because I've got like all this going on. And this person lost their stuff. So now they think that I'm not there for them. They're really sitting back and going, it's all your fault. And I'm like, no, it's not. So there's that. I'm going to say assertive. I'm not going to say confrontational because I don't feel like I was that way. I feel like I was very assertive and I was like, no, that's not what's happening here. And this is not my fault. And believe it or not, that is just as hard as it is to swallow it and try and like prove to somebody that that's not who you are. To no matter what people are wanting to think, like it's hard sometimes to stand up for yourself. It is very difficult. It is challenging in a way that sometimes you're just like, I give up. I don't care anymore. I'm tired. I don't want to fight. I can't do this. And you just let it happen. And I think that's where I don't want to be anymore. And I think that that's a hard spot to be in when you just sit back and you go, I don't care. I don't care. Just do whatever. Just behave whatever. I'm tired. I think that's a hard place to be in. And if you start feeling that way, get up. Go for a walk. Listen to some of these wonderful things that I keep finding on YouTube that's like the high frequency or the different frequencies for healing. There's like a million of them on YouTube. And some of them I'm not a fan of. You just have to find what works for you. But I think that listening to that high vibrational noise, listening to that energy, it can be helpful. Maybe listening to it isn't helpful for you. Maybe getting out there and exercising is helpful to you. Maybe doing something productive is helpful for you. Joining a club, joining a class, an activity, but also showing that you are still being supportive of other people. At least when they're healing. Because I think, at least for me, that's how I would want to be treated. It is. We're all going through something. Every single one of us. We just don't know what the other one's is. And a lot of people are good at hiding it. A lot of people. Don't be quick to judge. Be empathetic. Go pick an activity, even if it's meditation, because sometimes sitting still is a great activity. I'm really sorry to all of the people that I just dearly love, that I feel like I have been not paying attention to lately. There's definitely been a lot going on, and I'm not saying I am special or my problems are special. They're not. They're not. In fact, from the outside looking in, probably pretty trivial. But the thing is, I know a lot of my friends have been going through some stuff. I know a lot of my friends are dealing with things that I feel like I should be present for, that I should be there to help them. But sometimes when you're already holding a lot, it's hard for you to say, okay, give me one more thing. It doesn't mean that that person doesn't care about you. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. But the thing is, if you are carrying a lot of burdens and you see someone that you're close to that needs help, just give them support. Just say, hey, I'm here. I've got a lot going on, but I'm here. This is how I felt when I was in your position. I understand. Without saying, I know how you feel. Because that has actually been something that was pretty fantastic. Someone telling me that they know how I felt without saying, I know how you feel. What she did was she just started saying, this is how I felt in that situation. Do you remember it? And I was like, I do now. I remember. And the thing is, she reminded me that if you keep going on your path, as hard as it may be, if you keep going on your path and you start walking away from things that are no longer working in your life, I'm not saying that they're good, bad, or ugly. I'm just saying they're not working in your life. But if you walk away from those things, no matter how hard it is, you walk away from the things that are no longer serving you, you come out the other end and you come out in a better place. I don't know how this got so sad, but really, the last few days, at least the last 4 or 5 days, have really been heavy. The last 10 days have been, oh my gosh. I mean, like I've been walking around just going, is this really happening? Does this really happen? Because a lot of my clients call me, and I'm not shocked by a lot, but I have been like wind blown like the past couple of weeks. I've just been like, what? This is not an easy time. It's not. If you do your chart, if you do your birth chart, please look at it. Look at where North Node is. If your natal North Node is in Virgo, this is probably not the easiest time for you right now. If your ascendant is in Virgo, probably not the easiest time for you right now. And I want to tell you again, I want to remind you, everyone breaks. At some point or another, everyone breaks. There is not a creature alive on this planet that has gotten to the end of their journey without breaking. It's just where on their timeline. So consider that. And remember that there's no shame in breaking. But there is shame in, not even blame, but it's not the best way to go if you're not healing. If you let the break be the last thing, you have to heal from it. And healing is the hard part. It seems like the break would be, but the healing from it is the hard part. It's been a very long day. I hope it's been productive. I don't know though. It's been a tough one. It really has. And I've had to do a lot of reminding myself of who I am. Thank you guys so much. Especially those that have just been sitting and listening. Because I see you there, but, if you don't say anything, I don't know who you are. So that's fine. That's fine. I've been there myself. If you have anything that you would like to comment, or if you want to reach out to me, this is my email address. I'm averaging about, 15, 20 days returning emails, and I am sorry, but I am trying. It's just, it's a lot of work right now. And it's okay. It's all right. I think Mouse disagrees. He keeps staring at me like, you don't look like you're working. What does he know? And he keeps walking across my computer. Why is he doing that? Trying to get my attention? I'm sitting right here. Yeah. But it's okay. I have to go and write thank you notes to teachers now for being so great to my kids for the last year. That's a good thing. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I really do. I hope you have a phenomenal and amazing week. I'm going to give you a little heads up. For the crystal of the month for June is going to be citrine. I do love it. Citrine. So if you're out and about, if you're at your local shop, metaphysical shops or whatever, or if you're online, look at some citrine. It comes in a lot of different layers of yellow, orange even. This is one of my favorites, and it's lovely. It's lovely. So, citrine. So just, I just want to give you a heads up, let you know. We're in it for June. We're making a few changes to the channel in June. We're going to see how that rolls out. I mean, it could work. It could not. But we're just going to see. Yeah. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for all of you just even sitting in the chat. I appreciate you. I hope you all just do a little mental health check-in. We're almost halfway through the year. So let's just do that. See where we are, okay? And address it. Let's heal from it. And if you feel like you're in a space where no one is hearing you, no one is seeing you, start looking around for, like, maybe there's people waiting to help you. Maybe there's people out there waiting to support you. All right. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to go right in my, I did not know my calendar was a Vera Bradley. Well, I made the calendar, but I didn't know it was a Vera Bradley, but I do love it. I mean, like, I put all of this in there. Like, I glued it in, but because I couldn't find a calendar that I really liked, so I just made one. I mean, yeah. And I want to remind everybody one more thing. I've got it on my calendar. New moon in Gemini. The new moon in Gemini on Monday, the 26th? Yeah, Monday the 26th. This is going to be an awesome new moon, okay? Mercury goes into Gemini the day before on the 19th. No, I'm sorry. What is wrong with me? 25th. The 25th. Why am I not just looking in my calendar here? I have it in my hand. Did everybody else just roll your eyes at me? I mean, I felt it. I was rolling my eyes at me. Yeah. May. Thank you very much. Okay, so Mercury moves into Gemini on the 25th of May. New moon in Gemini at 11:02 p.m. is when it hits its peak. Eastern Standard Time. New moon in Gemini on the 26th. And let me tell you, a lot of good stuff happening during this time. So we've got Saturn moving into Aries on the 24th. Okay, so that is going to make this sextile, which is a good. It's a good thing. To the new moon and Mercury, and Jupiter is still in Gemini. Now Jupiter is, understandably, it's not right up on this new moon because this new moon is just entering into Gemini, and Jupiter is at like the other end. But it's all good. They're still all in Gemini. There's a lot of wonderful new beginnings happening during this time. It's like we need that breath of fresh air because I do feel like we have a cloud hanging over a lot of us right now for a lot of different reasons. I'm not saying it's political. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Oh my gosh, look, you can see me in my glasses. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. But this new moon in Gemini is a big deal. It is. So we're still going to be in the energy of the new moon in Gemini on the 27th. So I do want to talk about that. Maybe I'll make another TikTok or a video short or something about it because it's a lot of good energy. It's a good time for manifesting. It's a good time to bring in that energy, and I love it. Yeah. All right. So I wanted to end that on a good note. I wanted to end this sort of heavy show on a good note. And there it is. Yeah. So now what are you going to do? You're going to get out there and make your magic. Bye.